Have you ever walked into a room feeling completely fine, or at least telling yourself that, and your dog just came to you? Not because you called, not because it was feeding time, but as if something invisible pulled them across the room to sit at your feet, or press their nose against your hand, or rest their head on your lap without a single word being spoken. What if your dog already knew what you hadn't yet admitted to yourself? That question is not poetic exaggeration. It is the starting point of something that science is only now beginning to fully understand, and something that millions of dog owners have felt in their bones for years. Your dog is watching you, every single day. Not in the way a security camera watches, not passively, but actively, intelligently, and with a depth of attention that most humans will never give you in a lifetime. And the more you understand what your dog actually notices, the harder it becomes to look at them the same way again. The room is still dark and quiet, and you are still somewhere between sleep and waking. But your dog is already reading you. Dogs have been co-evolving with humans for somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years, depending on which study you read. In that time, they haven't just learned to live beside us, they have developed a neurological and sensory system that is, in many ways, specifically calibrated to understand human beings. Not animals in general, not the environment, us, you, specifically, the person they live with, the person whose smell is woven into every corner of the world they inhabit. And smell is where this story truly begins. A dog's nose contains up to 300 million olfactory receptors. Humans have about 6 million. The part of a dog's brain dedicated to analyzing scent is, proportionally, 40 times larger than ours. When you wake up in the morning, your body is already broadcasting a chemical symphony that your dog has been listening to and memorizing since the first day you brought them home. They know your baseline. They know what you smell like when you are rested, when you are sick, when you are anxious, when you are happy. They know the difference between the cortisol spike of a stressful Monday morning and the slow, easy breath of a Sunday with nowhere to be. They don't need you to tell them. They already know. Research published in scientific journals on animal behavior has confirmed what dog owners have long suspected. Dogs can detect biochemical changes in human sweat and breath associated with psychological stress. In controlled experiments, dogs were able to identify with remarkable accuracy the scent samples taken from people in high-stress situations versus calm ones, even from samples they had never encountered before. Think about what that means in your daily life. When you are sitting at your desk pretending everything is fine while your chest feels tight and your thoughts are racing, your dog knows. When you are lying in bed at night staring at the ceiling, telling yourself you'll feel better tomorrow, your dog knows. Not because they understand your problems, but because your body is telling the truth even when your words don't, and your dog speaks the language of the body fluently. She described those first months as feeling like she had become invisible. Her friends tried to help, but eventually life moved on for them, as it does. The calls became less frequent, the check-ins faded, and Maria found herself spending entire evenings in a silence that felt heavier than any noise. But every single night, without exception, her golden retriever Biscuit would climb onto the couch beside her, not at her feet, not nearby, but pressed against her body, warm and heavy and present, not asking anything, not needing anything, just there. Maria said that Biscuit never once treated her like she was broken, and that somehow was the thing that helped her believe she wasn't. This is not a coincidence. This is not the dog simply seeking warmth or comfort. Studies on canine social behavior show that dogs actively seek proximity to their owners during times of owner distress. They are drawn toward human emotional pain in a way that resembles empathic response. Whether what dogs experience is truly empathy in the philosophical sense remains debated, but behaviorally, functionally, it looks almost identical. Your dog moves toward you when you hurt, not away, toward. They read micro-expressions, posture, muscle tension, the angle of your shoulders, the way your feet point, how quickly you blink, whether your jaw is clenched or relaxed. Scientists at the University of Helsinki ran studies using eye-tracking technology on dogs and found that they focus on human faces in a way that prioritizes emotional expression, specifically the eyes and mouth, the same regions we humans use to read each other's emotions. Dogs have even developed a muscle above their inner eyebrow, the levator anguli oculi medialis, that wolves do not have. This muscle allows dogs to make the facial expression commonly described as puppy eyes. But here is the part that changes everything. Researchers believe this muscle didn't evolve to manipulate us. It evolved because we responded to it. It evolved because of us. Dogs grew a new facial muscle over thousands of years specifically to communicate with human beings. Let that settle for a moment. They changed their biology to talk to us, and in return, they learned to hear everything we say, with or without words. The clothes you put on when you're going somewhere versus when you're staying home. Your dog has cataloged all of it. Every sensory cue, every behavioral sequence, every variation from the norm. Dog cognition researchers have demonstrated that dogs can learn to predict human behavior with startling precision. Not just basic commands, but complex chains of behavior. They know that when you put on certain shoes, you are leaving for a long time. They know that when you sit in a particular chair, you will be there for hours. They know that when your breathing changes in the night, something is wrong before you've even fully woken up. There are documented cases, many of them, of dogs alerting owners to medical emergencies before symptoms became consciously apparent. Epileptic seizures predicted minutes before they happen. Blood sugar drops in diabetic patients. The early cellular changes associated with certain cancers, detected through scent alone. These are not myths. These are peer-reviewed, documented, replicated observations. Your dog is not just your companion. In the most literal sense, your dog may be a medical instrument calibrated to your body. It is your emotional world, your grief, your fear, your love, the quiet desperation of a life that is harder than anyone around you realizes. The kind where you stop returning calls, stop cooking real meals, stop caring about the small rituals that used to hold your days together. People around you might not notice for weeks, maybe months. They see what you present to them. They hear the words you choose. They accept the "I'm fine" because accepting it is easier than pressing further. Your dog notices on day one, not because they understand depression as a clinical concept, but because they understand you, your baseline, your normal, your particular and specific version of alive, and they feel the moment something shifts. The way you move through the house changes. Your scent changes. The rhythm of your breathing changes. The frequency of your eye contact changes. The warmth in your voice when you speak to them changes. And what does a dog do with that information? They don't analyze it. They don't judge it. They don't grow uncomfortable with it the way humans sometimes do, unsure of what to say, afraid of making it worse. They simply respond to it with everything they have. More presence, more closeness, more of that quiet, steady companionship that asks absolutely nothing from you and gives absolutely everything. Research on animal-assisted therapy has shown measurable physiological effects from human-dog interaction during periods of psychological distress. Reduced cortisol, lowered blood pressure, increased oxytocin, the hormone associated with bonding and feelings of safety. These are not placebo effects. These are real, measurable changes in the human body triggered by the presence of a dog. But here is what the research cannot fully capture, the thing that lives beyond the data. Your dog is not a therapy tool. They are not providing a service. They are loving you, specifically you. In the particular and irreplaceable way that only comes from years of learning someone so deeply that their pain becomes something you feel in your own body. Not the abstract idea of it, but the real, embodied, frightening experience of your body failing you in some way. When humans get sick, really sick, one of the loneliest parts of the experience is the feeling of being reduced to symptoms, to schedules, to what you can and cannot do anymore. The world keeps moving, and you are standing still or lying down, and there is a particular kind of isolation in that stillness. Dogs don't reduce you. They don't see your illness first. They see you first, the person they have always known, the person whose heartbeat they have slept beside, whose hands they know the smell of, whose face they have studied with more attention than any human portrait painter. The illness is there, yes. They sense it, sometimes in ways that precede the diagnosis. But it doesn't change how they look at you. There are stories, countless stories, of dogs who refuse to leave a sick owner's side for days, weeks, months. who slept pressed against the affected area of the body, who became visibly distressed when medical equipment was brought in, or when the scent of the room changed in ways that meant something was getting worse. Dogs who sat in hospital parking lots waiting for owners who didn't come back. These are not stories of animal instinct in the crude sense. These are stories of loyalty so deep it borders on the sacred. Your dog practices this love with perfect consistency every single day. You can come home having failed at something important. You can come home angry or ashamed or so exhausted that you can barely form sentences. You can come home having made mistakes that you don't know how to forgive yourself for. And at the door, at that threshold between the world that judged you and the home that holds you, there is a creature whose entire being lights up at the sight of you. Not at the successful version of you. Not at the you who has everything together. Just you. The fact of you. The smell of you. The sound of your footsteps on the path before you even reach the door. Dog owners often describe this moment, coming home to their dog, as the one part of the day that feels completely uncomplicated. And that simplicity, that purity of reception, is not a small thing. In a world that conditions us to earn love through behavior, to deserve affection through achievement, your dog offers something almost countercultural: love as a given, love as a default, love that has no fine print. The major life changes that restructure everything around you and leave you momentarily unrecognizable to yourself. A new city, a new job, the end of a relationship, the loss of someone you loved, the arrival of a child, the departure of one. Those periods where the old map no longer works and the new one hasn't been drawn yet, when you are living in the disorienting space between who you were and who you are becoming. In those moments, your dog is the continuity. They are the one relationship that doesn't shift with the new circumstances. They are the one presence that knew you before and is still there after. When everything else in your environment changes, the address, the bed, the faces at the breakfast table, your dog is the sensory anchor. The smell that was there in the old life is there in the new one. The weight of them against your feet at night remains the same. The particular way they sigh before sleep hasn't changed. And that constancy, that beautiful, unwavering constancy, is a form of love that goes beyond what most humans are equipped to offer. Because humans change with circumstances. We grow distant, we grow busy, we grow hurt, we grow different. But your dog remains oriented toward you with a fidelity that doesn't know how to be otherwise. If this is hitting something true for you, if you've felt seen in what I'm describing, drop a comment below and tell me about your dog. And if you haven't yet, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this content reach the people who need it. But the deeper, longer fear. The fear that lives beneath the surface of ordinary days and colors everything with a low, persistent anxiety. The fear of not being enough. The fear of losing control. The fear of what the future holds. The fear of being alone. Dogs are exquisitely sensitive to fear. It is one of the things they detect most reliably. The biochemical signature of anxiety is distinct and strong, and a dog who knows you can read it the way you read a weather forecast. They know when the storm is coming before you've consciously acknowledged the clouds. And their response to your fear is instructive in the most profound way. They don't panic with you. They don't amplify it. The research shows that when dogs detect stress in their owners, they often move closer, but they do so while maintaining their own calm. They are not overwhelmed by your emotional state. They absorb it, acknowledge it, and remain steady. In therapeutic terms, what they offer is called co-regulation, the neurological and emotional phenomenon where one calm nervous system helps another nervous system find its way back to calm. Your dog is, in this sense, a living anchor, a biological counterweight to the anxiety that modern life generates in excess. And they do it not because they were trained to, not because they read about it, but because somewhere in the long, deep history of the relationship between their species and ours, this is what they became. This is who they are, in relation to who we are. But here, at the center of all this wonder and warmth and science, I need to say something that is harder to say. Your dog is watching you every day, studying you, loving you with a precision and a totality that is almost incomprehensible when you really look at it. And they are doing all of this, every single moment of attention and loyalty and devotion, inside a life that is radically shorter than yours. The average dog lives 10 to 13 years. Some more, some less. When you bring a puppy home, you are beginning a love story that you already know the ending of. That is a staggering thing to accept. It is one of the quiet griefs that dog owners carry, the knowledge that somewhere in the future, there is a day they don't want to arrive. A last morning, a last walk. A last time those eyes look up at yours with all that uncomplicated love still in them. And the cruelty of it, if cruelty is even the right word, is that your dog doesn't know about that day. They are not spending their lives braced against the ending. They are not wasting a single moment of their attention on the awareness of their own finitude. They are just here. Fully, completely, undefensively here. Every time they come to you, it is without reservation. Every nap beside you is given completely. Every moment of attention they direct toward you, learning you, reading you, loving you, is whole and unheld. Do you notice the particular weight of them when they lean against you, as if they are trying to close every last millimeter of distance between your body and theirs? Do you notice the sound of their breathing in a quiet house? The small and ordinary miracle of another living creature sharing your space and your days and your life? They are studying you with everything they have. Every hour of every ordinary day, they are paying attention to you in a way that is, when you really let it in, almost unbearable in its tenderness. You don't have to deserve it. You don't have to earn it. You just have to be there. And maybe, for however many years you are lucky enough to have them, that is enough. To be there. To notice back. To understand, even a fraction as deeply as they understand you, what it means to share a life with a creature who chose you so completely that they built themselves around you. They are watching you right now, learning the particular rhythm of this moment, the specific frequency of today. Be worth watching. Not for anyone else, for them. Because the day will come, as it comes for all of us who have ever loved a dog, when you would trade almost anything to be watched that way one more time. Because what comes next will change the way you think about your relationship with them forever.